Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. I'm still deaf in one ear. The specialist has not called. We've called two specialists to give me a call, and they have not reached out to me. I don't know what's going on with that. One of the chiropractor in the office where I go see my doctor said that they're making oodles of money. The ear specialist, he says, I think they're picking and choosing. He says, don't quote me on this, but I think they're picking and choosing. And if they like your insurance, they'll pick you and literally ignore anybody else, which is terrible. And of course, I don't think there's a regulation forcing them to see anybody, right? The specialists aren't forced by law to see anybody. Anyway, that's a little bit of thing. Now, as you can tell, as I've said before, I'm on this laptop and it's now on life support. Literally, there's no battery in it. Keyboard is completely shot. I have an external keyboard, I have an external mouse, and I have it plugged into the power cord. So it literally looks like it's on life support. There's all this stuff coming off of it. And really, I'm just using, I guess, the hard drive and the monitor screen. Which brings me to my next point. If you can find it in your heart to donate $100 or $1,000 for me to purchase a brand new computer, you can call it my Christmas/birthday present. My birthday is a little over a week after Christmas. So you'd be killing two birds with one stone with one donation. How about that? I'll leave the donation down in the information box and in the comments. So we talked about the Michigan governor, and three Republicans there had issued a statement. Each filed impeachment papers. Filed. They didn't just talk about it. They filed. So we have a story now. Whole county in Michigan threw its support behind impeaching the governor, Whitmer. Here's the story. A county in northern Michigan threw its support behind a resolution put forward by three Republican members of Michigan's House of Representatives calling for the impeachment of Governor Gretchen Whitmer last week. Despite Michigan Speaker of the House Representative Lee Chatfield, a fellow GOP member, aka a rhino, condemning the resolution, the Kalkaska County Board of Commissioners voted 4-2 in favor of supporting the effort Friday. The effort meaning the impeachment. That comes from a report from Michigan Live. Whitmer has come under fire for her restrictions on businesses during the coronavirus pandemic, further angering Republicans after she and the Department of Health and Human Services issued a 3-week order limiting indoor social gatherings last week. That is to cover Thanksgiving. Now, Christmas is coming up. Is she going to make a new order? And they're saying with a 3-week order to stay indoors and restrictions of not to gather with people, the small business, not just small business, but the business sector of Michigan said such a thing is devastating coming off of all the lockdowns that they had before. Plus, all the shenanigans that the people were doing with the peaceful protesters in Michigan. Because we know those peaceful protesters redecorated all the stores so that the store owners had to come back and renegotiate the decorations in their stores. And also go out and buy new supplies for the stores. And new products for the stores. And new floors and new windows, and new walls, and new shelves, and new cash registers. Maybe they were creating new jobs for the store owners. Yeah, and I hear the insurance might be leaving those hotbed areas because there's a new Twitter tweet saying that if the new president-elect doesn't adhere to their demands, that they are not going anywhere. Quote, unquote. They are here to stay. They're not going away. Quote, unquote. When the insurance companies start leaving your town, that means that they have given up any hope that you'll have a normal sort of area. Now, insurance will leave areas like flood zones, hurricane zones, fire zones. They'll just leave. You can't get insurance at all. So there's talk of Michigan insurance leaving Michigan and some other places around the country too. Folks, I want to talk to you about her restrictions on indoor gathering. She doesn't have the authority. The First Amendment says you have a right to peaceably assemble. You have a right, an unfettered right to peaceably assemble. Her authority stops at the sidewalk. She cannot tell you who you have in your house, how many people you can have in your house. Can't tell you that. Especially, and here's a distinction, especially when you're not doing anything that impacts anybody else of the public. So technically, you could have 50,000 people over to your house. Now, the fire marshal might come and tell you it's not a good idea to have 50,000 people in your house, but that'd be it. He's just advising you. He can't drag people out by the hair. He can't come in and make a head count and say, I'm fining each and every one of you. Can't do it. Oh, let me rephrase that. When I say can't, I mean he has no authority to. People do all sorts of stuff. And by people, I mean politicians and corporations and federal agents. They do all sorts of stuff they don't have the authority to. And you need to know your rights. The only person who can protect your rights is you. Sorry. You have a duty to protect your own rights. You know who doesn't have a duty to protect your rights? Nobody else. Nobody else has a right to protect your rights. You have a duty. And you need to start teaching your children that. You have a duty. All the stuff that the schools do, they don't have the authority. But you have a duty to protect your rights. So, the governor not only should be impeached, but should be tried for civil rights violations. And the Speaker of the House, Lee Chatfield, needs to step down as a Republican. Now, he's leaving Speaker of the House come December due to term limits. But let me tell you, I'm pretty sure he's not going to leave the politics, right? He needs to step out of the Republican Party. You Republicans need to get in on that. I'm not a Republican, but I'm just here to tell you, you need to clean your house because you got some spiders up in there, spinning some webs up in there, and they're not doing you any favors. He's saying he's not going to let the impeachment even come to a vote on the floor of the House of Representatives of Michigan. Not going to happen. Not on his watch. Quote, unquote. Not on his watch. Not going to make it to the floor for a vote. Then he needs to be removed as Speaker. Almost immediately. He should have been removed the next day. They should have been like, okay, we need a vote. Get this guy out of here. He's not Republican. And he's talking about when we have disagreements, we handle those disagreements and as a last resort, the people of Michigan just vote. No, this isn't a disagreement. What she's doing is illegal. What she's doing is unconstitutional. What she's doing is a violation of civil rights. It's not a disagreement, sir. It's not a disagreement. It's not spin. It's not a way of looking at something. She doesn't have the authority. And then trying to enforce the order with police and state agencies, yeah, she doesn't have the authority. This isn't a disagreement. You all need to clean your house. I don't know what y'all do. Anyway, thank you all for watching. And this applies to Democrats too. What she's doing is illegal. If you have any integrity as a Democrat, you would also sign that impeachment petition, right? The impeachment papers. Thank you all for watching. I'm a third-year law school student. I do not have the money to finish my degree. I cannot take out a loan because of personal reasons, personal legal reasons, blah, 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 yada, 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 that I'm not going to get into it because y'all ain't my friends, nor my family. But if you wanted to give me $30,000, maybe I could go finish my law degree. I only need one more year, and I'd be a lawyer. Well, I'd take the bar and be a lawyer somewhere. But anyway, that's a different story. So this is coming from a third-year law school student who has worked in law firms here in Las Vegas and in Texas and in Louisiana. Just worked a little bit, not as a lawyer. I was just doing all the footwork for lawyers. I did also work in law school, and I did all the footwork. I'm the researcher. This is why I'm so good at research. I did all the research for the Louisiana Law Institute. You can look that up. And the briefs that I submitted were used in some of the legislation, i.e. laws in Louisiana. So, I have that under my belt. So I'm telling you, when I say this is unconstitutional, this is coming from an educated standpoint. This is not coming from, oh, I just have an opinion that I just came up and thought about myself because I like to talk on the internet. No, I have extensive education, especially in constitutional law, because, of course, as a black man, I wanted to make sure I took all the constitutional law classes. So I took Constitutional Law 1, 2, and 3. They only offer 3. Anyway, thank you all for watching.